So before we jump into the numbers, let's briefly reconnect with where we left off in Module 2. You spent some time building awareness, looking at red flags, reflecting on your vision, and thinking more intentionally about what you're actually trying to achieve through property ownership in Jamaica. Now, we're going to start bringing money into the conversation because vision matters. But the numbers still have to make sense. And yes, you might actually want your calculator nearby for this one. Before we start calculating anything, let's quickly look at a few terms you'll likely come across during the buying process. You don't need to memorize every single term here. This page is here as a reference tool, so you can come back to it whenever you need it. Mortgage. Simply put, this is the loan used to finance your property purchase. Interest rate. That's the cost of borrowing money from a lender, and it can directly affect what your monthly payments may look like. And debt-to-income ratio, sometimes called DTI. This helps lenders look at how much of your income is already committed to existing debt obligations. Take a few minutes later to review the rest of the glossary terms on your own, because understanding the language can make the process feel a lot less intimidating.
Let's unpack that a little bit, because this is something that confuses a lot of buyers. A mortgage pre-approval is usually an earlier step in the process. It can help give you an idea of what you may qualify for, based on the financial information you've provided. But that doesn't automatically mean the mortgage is fully approved. Mortgage approval typically involves a deeper review. The lender may verify documents, review your finances more closely, and in many cases, the actual property itself can become part of the process. Understanding that difference can help you budget more realistically, prepare earlier, and avoid surprises later on. Because understanding which stage you're actually in can help you plan better, budget smarter, and move through the process with more confidence.
Now, let's move into your budget builder worksheet. And I actually like the subtitle on this page, Let Your Vision Set the Budget, Not Fear. This worksheet helps you start putting some realistic numbers around your goal. You'll notice areas for maximum budget, target price range, estimated deposit, legal, and closing costs. And this is usually where buyers start realizing the listing price may not tell the whole story, because once you begin adding deposits, closing costs, and real-life ownership expenses into the picture, the numbers can start looking a little different. So, let me bring Tony in here for a quick practical example.
Let me give you a real-world example. Say you're looking at a property that's listed for about 30 million Jamaican dollars, which is roughly 190,000 US dollars. A lot of people immediately think, okay, can I afford 30 million? But that's not the only number you need to think about. If you're putting down a 10% deposit, that's about 3 million Jamaican dollars, or around 19,000 US dollars. Closing costs can sometimes be close to 10% of the purchase price as well, depending on the deal. That can include things like attorney fees, valuation costs, registration expenses, mortgage-related fees, and other costs that come with completing the purchase. So on a $30 million property, you could be looking at another 3 million Jamaican dollars in costs, or roughly another 19,000 US dollars. At that point, the conversation starts to shift. You're not just thinking about the listing price anymore. You're thinking about the deposit, transaction costs, and whether you're truly ready to move forward. Because if you add a $3 million deposit to roughly another $3 million in transaction costs, you could be planning for close to 6 million Jamaican dollars, or around 38,000 US dollars, before you even start thinking about the costs of getting settled after closing for a resale home or a new development. Things like appliances, window coverings for privacy, small upgrades, or other purchases that help make the property comfortable and functional for you. Now, just a quick reminder, these numbers are only being used to help explain the idea. Every buyer's situation is different. Interest rates, financing terms, income, debt obligations, and lender requirements can all affect your actual numbers.
All right, now that you've started seeing how the numbers can begin coming together, this is a good time to pause, revisit your workbook, and start putting some of this into context for your own situation. And if you're working through the property playbook with me, there's actually a closing cost snapshot in Module 5, where you'll find a practical breakdown of common cost categories, who typically pays what, and a simple example to help bring some of these numbers into perspective. But for now, let's shift from budgeting into buying readiness. Because once you're thinking beyond the listing price, the next question becomes, what do you actually need when you're preparing to submit an offer? This page is your property buying checklist. Think of this checklist as a preparation tool, something you can review early so you're not scrambling for documents later. And just to quickly recap, in this module, we covered some key financing terms, started thinking through budgeting, looked beyond the listing price, and talked about what preparation can actually look like before viewing homes and submitting offers. If you'd like the worksheets, planning tools, checklists, and guided exercises that go deeper alongside this course, you can grab the full property playbook using the link in the description, because buying property from overseas can feel like a lot to manage. Questions, paperwork, timelines, money decisions, and sometimes you just need something that helps you slow down, organize your thoughts, map things out, and feel a little more confident about what comes next. And in the next module, we're shifting into investment strategy, because not everyone is buying for the same reason, and not every path needs to look the same. Do you want immediate cash flow, long-term appreciation, a rental strategy, land for future growth? We'll explore tools like the investment strategy matrix, now versus better later, and start small, think smart, to help you think through what might actually align with your goals, budget, timeline, and personality. When you're ready, we'll keep making this process feel a little less overwhelming and a lot more manageable in the next module. See you there.
That was a True Hustle production, where vision meets action.